to Marvel Minute, everybody. Jamie Thomas here from My Apple Work. I did post a video on YouTube the other day about some exciting news that, yes, Apple Work HQ is relocating back to Gunner Country, Delhi. So anyway, what this video is about honouring what yesterday meant to me, the 26th of January. Before I start though, as I always do before I start a yarn, I just want to light a little ceremonial fire here, just to honour our ancestors, honour Mother Earth, and not just First Nations ancestors, but all ancestors that respectfully and peacefully walk this earth together as one, the human race. So, just want to share my thoughts about yesterday. I tried to stay away from social media yesterday. One of the things I'm learning since the social dilemma, is the algorithms that they use, social media platforms, how they can actually make people feel by shifting the algorithms and what you see, how you can get outraged, angry, upset, sad, or happy. They control all that. Watch the social dilemma. Ex-employees talk about how they control that algorithm to psychologically control us. So that's no tin hat theory. That's a well-known fact. Go and do your own research around that if you'd like to. But anyway, what I want to talk about is Invasion Day, Survival Day, Australia Day, and give you my thoughts and perspectives of what it means to me. And look, I think I'm in a pretty good position to talk about this because my mother is of European descendancy and my father is First Nations, Gunai Kratungalang born man. So I feel as though I have a little bit of responsibility to talk about it from both perspectives. I identify as a First Nations person because I have direct lineage that goes back thousands of years to this country. I honour my other ancestry from my mother's side, and honour that I come from a long line of European, Scandinavian descendancies as well. But being born in this country and having ongoing generational, hundreds of generations connection is my First Nations identity as an Aboriginal fella. I want to have a big shout out to my non-Aboriginal family for their love and support, of understanding, of listening, and also to my friends and allies about my perspective of what that day means to me. One of the things that I'm acutely aware of is, I believe, and it might have changed, but not when I was at school, is the true history of Australia. We won't talk about the massacres, the genocide, the removal policies just yet, but just the general facts. That Europeans have been coming here since the 1600s. So, to say that Captain Cook discovered Australia is a fallacy. It's incorrect. Captain Cook never circumvented Australia. That was Matthew Flinders. And he did that with the help of Aboriginal people. The terminology, Australia, this continent wasn't known as Australia even when Lieutenant James Cook come here in 1770. And that it was Captain Arthur Phillips who brought the first fleet to Australia. So let's get those facts straight. Have you been taught that in history? Have you been taught that in schools from your family? I wasn't. If you were, good luck to you. But what I'm seeing across the narrative of conversations that I'm across, people don't know those basic facts. The term Australia was a term that is Latin Australis, Terra Australis, the southern land. That wasn't penned until, I think it was, I'm going to say 1840. I looked at this up last night. I should have the facts in front of me, but I don't. Anyway, this continent was called many things by First Nations people, but it was also called New Holland for 100 odd years. So anyway, it got called Australia. That's what it was. And it's only recent. Our flag, same thing. We lived under the Union Jack for years and years and years and years and years. The Union Jack's only a new thing. The celebration of Australia Day has only been a national event since '94. Not that long. Why am I saying this? Because I keep hearing this narrative about tradition, right? I keep hearing this narrative about tradition. Traditions change. Our culture, 60 odd thousand years old, our traditions altered and changed for a lot of reasons. So when people go, no, it's going to be the 26th to celebrate Australia Day, why? Traditions change. I agree with changing the date, and I agree with changing the meaning, and let me tell you why. I'll give you two examples. When I talk to non-Indigenous Australians who don't understand this stuff, who don't want to listen, they say, Scott Morrison's classic example, look, that's just facts of the facts. That's when, the first fleet came, 11 ships, there were prisoners, there were officers, there were workers, who came. We acknowledge that as the start of, not the only day. Go into your history. Massacres happened all over Australia. It was a world war. It was a war for our world. So on Anzac Day, I don't just, I honour the diggers that fought for the freedom and liberties of this country. I honour them. What irritates me is when we want to talk about the atrocities that happened, the massacres, the genocide, the policies, people say, get over it. Get over it. It's been 230 years, get over it. I say, okay, so does that mean in 130 years' time, I can turn to the descendants of Anzac and all our world wars and say, guess what, guys? Get over it. Same. It's exactly the same thing. You could say the same thing. Why do I have to apologise? Why do I have to apologise for the atrocities that happened? I get that narrative. Hang on, but weren't you the one screaming at the Japanese government to give apologies about the treatment of prisoners of war? Same. The stealing of lands. The non-respecting way people acquired lands. But that was then. I wasn't a part of that. Same people moaning around about overseas investors buying up our country. Don't like that, do they? Do you? Do I? But guess what? We vote the people in that do that. So don't go getting shitty at the government. Say you do know these people that want to put up this negative, ignorant blockage of the facts. They sprout the same narrative as I am and cry victim. Lest we forget. Absolutely, I'm respectful of that day, the 11th of the 11th. I've got family members that fought in those wars. Remember, Australian Aboriginal people fought in those wars before they were even proclaimed as citizens of this country. Still took bullets for this country, for the freedoms and liberties, came home and got treated as second-class citizens. 67 referendum, yes, great. So, I always say, my elders have always taught me this, one thing, lots of things, one main thing about this topic. If you are going to piss moan around about something, give me a way out. Give me a solution. What are you proposing? I want to say, well done to everybody that gets out there in the streets and marches and protests and raises awareness. I want to, honour the First Nations mob that do that. I want to honour the allies, the non-Indigenous people that do that support and understand and respect. There's a huge change happening, guys, and guess what? It's going to happen. And, there will always be, you can see this, what happened in the States with Trump. There will always be an element of society that just don't want to see, they don't want to respect, they don't want to understand. But again, it's divide and conquer. Politicians love it. They love it. They love to divide and conquer us. So what I say to people, elders like Uncle Banjo Clark, an amazing Kerry Wurrung elder, Uncle Ivan Cousins, amazing Kerry Wurrung, Peak Wurrung, Uncle Rob Lowe, Uncle amazing Peak Wurrung elder, Uncle Mookie Sumner, Ngarrindjeri elder, Uncle Albert Mullet, Gono elder. I hear this narrative amongst our mob. It's not my responsibility to educate you. Go and educate yourself. Okay, that's fine. That's your belief. Well, guess what? My elders taught me that it was my responsibility to continually to engage and educate, because education is a lifelong. It's a lifelong journey. And, and I've seen it play out just recently. People say, go and educate yourself. I'm sick of educating you. It's not my responsibility. Non-Aboriginal people do that. They go and read a book, watch a movie, see a doco, then mob turn and go, no, that's not the right way. It's this way. So for allies, they're confused. They want to learn. So I always say to allies, understand that every Aboriginal person that you meet is uniquely different. There are commonalities, similarities, there's sameness in the struggles, in the atrocities, in the past, the trauma, the intergenerational trauma. All those things are there. Let's not forget that. But there'll also be nuances. And this is why I prefer to shoot a video and talk about it, rather than do a little Facebook post that can be misinterpreted, tone of pictures not even included, content of the complexities of the conversation are not even included. So that's why I have decided not to over-engage in the social media. Okay, here's a question. How many hours, days, months have you spent arguing with idiots on social media trying to change their opinion? How many opinions have you changed? And how many keyboard warriors sit there in the comfort of their own home, the ignorance, not even facing you face to face, feeling your energy, hearing your tone and pitch, seeing the intent that you are there to share and educate? How many people's views and opinions have you actually changed? So those amazing elders that I spoke about before were always at the forefront. They were always at Australia Day ceremonies. Why? Because that's where the views and opinions of people that need to be changed. Don't get me wrong, I just said before, marches, demonstrations with allies is amazing. But guess what? Preaching to the converted. And that's good, because it shows the swell of numbers. AFL football clubs are coming out now, change the date. Cricket Australia coming out now, change the date. Awesome, amazing. It's happening. Why? Because of the marches, the protests, but because of the work. Look at Dr. Miriam. She just got an OA. An OA, Order of Australia. Because she engages in those conversations around reconciliation. Yes, it's tiring and taxing. Take some time off. Yes, there are ignorant, racist people out there. You're not always going to change everybody. But I have found putting my time and effort into talking to people who are not educated. A lot of people haven't met an Aboriginal person. That's why I love Waiapa, because it shares so many similarities as human beings. We have more in common than we have differences. And the views and opinions of our mob. I saw on the news last night, thousands of people at the Invasion Day, Survival Day rally. And then there was a few hundred people at the Australian Day march. You're not going to understand and respect and see if we're separated at different marches, guys. Go and listen to those guys that are standing on those steps. The mob, the Aboriginal people. What they're saying isn't divisive. It's about being inclusive. Inclusive of the narrative of truth-telling. At our schools, I'll ask this question. At our schools, is the narrative of rape, murder, genocide, removal policies taught at schools from an early age? Obviously, knowledge appropriate, not wanting to traumatise or upset young kids. But is there a process of incremental inclusion of the truth being told here? The engagement. It was really good. I was watching some mindless TV the other day. Just sat down, turned it on, for a flick, watch a bit of sport. And there were 4 white people talking about change the date. Thankfully, 2 of them said, yes, do it. The other lady said, I'm not going to comment because 4 white people sitting here talking about Aboriginal stuff. Can't do it. And it was awesome. As opposed to talking about, without Indigenous input. So anyway, as a First Nations person, as a Karanai, Crow-Tungalung man with Aboriginal descendancies, to other mobs, my view and opinions are mine. And they're mine because they have been moulded by my elders. I'll name my elders and I'll honour my elders. There's a lot of them, but Uncle Albert from the beginning, being guided by, Bobo, moving to Western District, Uncle Rob, Uncle Ivan, Uncle Licorice, Uncle Henry, Uncle Banjo, Uncle Moogie, and there's been various others, Uncle Bill Edwards. I'll honour them old fellas because their knowledge and wisdom that they gave to me is priceless. I wouldn't be me without them, and I want to honour their elders that give them that knowledge and courage and wisdom to stand up. So I guess this video was really about a reflection of yesterday. Jumped on the socials this morning and had a bit of a feel. I'm a member of hunting groups, I'm a member of forward drive groups and camping groups. There's a lot of racism there, guys. All I can do, I don't engage because again, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of friggin' time. I'll wait till I meet them face to face. I join them groups in real life, and that's where they get educated. I remember being 18 years old at a BNS ball. A young Aboriginal man. This one, it's BNS ball was down at Numarella, up in Dura country. And I got surrounded by all these young farmers. And it's about native title, 1990. Oh, you want to take our land? You want to take our land? I don't take your land. I just want you to look after it properly. Respect the cultural sites there. Yes, it was sometimes, not all the time. From our perspective, it was illegally acquired. Sometimes it wasn't. Sometimes it was bought through the government, soldier settlements. Don't get me started about that. So, I guess I posted a video the other day. Didn't get onto Instagram or to our WAPA work page, but I wanted to start my year. Sarah and I have taken some time off. We've had a lot on personally with the procurement of a property back on country, where we're looking forward to doing on country stuff and doing reconciliation stuff, doing education stuff for non-Aboriginal people, healing stuff for mob, and we're looking forward to that journey. It's going to be a really, the last 12, 14 months for me have been a massive healing journey. I've probably touched on that and alluded on that in a few ways, and I feel really good for that. I acknowledge, at times in my life I haven't done things the proper way, and I've been accountable for that. I've owned that, and but it's not going to stop me. It's not going to stop me being the best version of myself every day. So I just want to send some love to everybody and some healing, and I want to say that the journey forward is together. It's not separate. The journey forward is about honouring, acknowledging, and truth-telling, and sometimes the truth hurts. But true healing can't happen with the truth being told. I know that personally, and I know that socially, and from a family perspective, a community perspective. So, keep being deadly. There's always healing in Mother Earth. There's healing in the solace of each other, the comfort of friendship and counsel. If yesterday has triggered mob, reach out to people. For allies, I just want to say thank you. Keep sharing the work, keep learning. It's a journey, and we're looking forward to, for me, this conversation is 365 days. That's what I do. It's not on one day. It's every day, same as WAPA. It's every day. Clean Up Australia Day. It's not one day, it's every day. It's a personal journey, and it's a journey of togetherness. So look forward to sharing more exciting news. We start our first diploma on Monday with a group of 6 teachers. We're really looking forward to ramping up the connectivity. We're looking forward to running diplomas on country, healing retreats, connection retreats on country. So yeah, look forward to sharing this stuff with you guys in the future. Have a great day. I say Yarabi and Muruk.